Vice President Mike Pence today making an unannounced trip to Afghanistan to thank several hundred U.S. soldiers ahead of the Christmas holiday. He also met with President Ashraf Ghani at the presidential palace in Kabul, reaffirming the Trump administration's commitment to a free and stable Afghanistan. Joining me now to talk about what happened at the UN, former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, John Bolton, now a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute and a Fox News contributor. Ambassador, always a pleasure to see you, and, you know, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you. Look, every American president I can think of promised to recognize Jerusalem as the capital and move our embassy there. None of them kept their promises. This president did. Was it simply a predictable result by the UN?
Yeah, look, this is an act of theater. The vote in the Security Council earlier this week was the first act. This is the second act. This vote in the General Assembly in particular will have no meaning, no consequence, no significance. It's outrageous that a decision by two governments, the United States and Israel, where to put our embassy in Israel's capital city should even be a discussion item at the UN. But I think the president, despite how reflective this is of the culture and anti-Israel feeling in New York, not to mention anti-U.S. feeling, I think the president actually scored a victory here and has a real opportunity going forward. It's true the vote was overwhelmingly against the U.S. decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital. But when you count both the abstentions and the governments that didn't even bother to show up to vote, it amounts to 56 plus 9 who actually voted against the resolution. Right. That number is much higher than I expected or predicted on various Fox News shows. I thought the vote against the U.S. and Israel would be 170, 180. And I think that abstention rate reflects what Trump said and what Ambassador Haley said, that there would be consequences for those countries that voted against what the United States had done. I think there should be financial consequences for the UN as well.
Why should we give billions of dollars to people that don't apparently like us very much and vote against us at the UN all the time? Let me move on to something else, this report that when he was president, Barack Obama decided to go easy on the terrorist organization Hezbollah so that he could curry favor with Iran in the nuclear deal. What do you make of that?
Well, you know, if this story is even close to being true, it's explosive. It's in Politico, so I take everything there with a grain of salt. But my view would be we should follow the suggestion of Congressman Pittenger, a Republican of North Carolina, who said we should have a congressional investigation. It could involve the judiciary committees as well as the foreign affairs committees. It is inexcusable for any administration to hold back on Hezbollah, let alone as an act of appeasement in what was already a broader act of appeasement to negotiate this nuclear deal with Iran. Right. You know, there are always deconfliction needs between law enforcement and intelligence, and maybe there was some of that here. But that doesn't mean you shut down a DEA operation. It means you tailor it more carefully. There's no excuse not to take the fullest measures we can against Hezbollah.
I got about a minute left. I have to ask you about North Korea. There's a report on that country that the United States is considering what's referred to as a bloody nose attack against the country to sort of knock out their nuclear program. Can that be done? And if it can, good idea, bad idea, or would it make matters worse?
Well, I think unless we get some dramatic development where China takes out the North Korean regime or agrees to reunite the two Koreas, ending the division on the peninsula, that we're down to a binary choice fairly soon. Either we accept North Korea with nuclear weapons or we consider the use of military force. So the Pentagon ought to be doing contingency planning, and as risky as the use of force might be, do you want to wait for 5 years to go by and North Korea have 100 ICBMs with thermonuclear weapons that can hit the United States? Neither option is attractive. Defending the American people is the first responsibility of the president.
Yeah, the problem is all the artillery lined up at the DMZ aimed at Seoul, which is minutes away. That's a problem. You can't quite knock all of that out before they start firing and murdering people.
Don't underestimate our Air Force and naval capabilities. That's clearly something we should look at. We should do everything we can to protect the South Koreans, and I think that's what the Pentagon's looking at now.
Oh, you can bet they've game planned that one out long ago. Ambassador John Bolton, happy holidays. Thanks for being with us.
Merry Christmas. Glad to be with you.
All right.